Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new NVIDIA daily update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over NVIDIA stock. Let's go over what has happened to the stock, what we can expect moving forward, and all of that good stuff. So ladies and gentlemen, as per usual, if you enjoy, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. And of course, if you enjoy my technical analysis, thoughts on the charts, etc., I do share my thoughts with my members every single day for just $3 a month. That includes Tesla stock, mainly Tesla stock, plus sometimes I'll share other stocks that I see opportunities on as well. Again, just $3 a month every single day. I share these things as the market is trading with my members. This was like all the posts just from today, all of these posts right here just from today. Or for $5 a month, access to the second tier, which includes NVIDIA plus the first tier. But jumping into it, NVIDIA closing the day pretty much flat, actually, which is, relative to the market, not too bad, right? Not too bad. Holding pretty strong as it's now entering the cloud here and holding pretty well now above the 9 EMA. Or 8 EMA, I should say. Pretty good, because yesterday closed above the 8 EMA you can see here, which is this kind of bottom green line of the cloud, and now it's holding it on the daily. Not bad, not bad. Now there's more work to be done, but not bad. It's a good start. On top of that, NVIDIA is also holding the 1 hour cloud, and one thing I like to see that's happening, or should happen tomorrow, unless it really aggressively gaps down, is both the 8 and the 21 EMA are pretty much on the verge of both crossing the 50 EMA. That's a good sign to me, right? Last time that happened, you can see, for instance, was pretty much over here, right? When we had this, decent fall over here, and look what happened. NVIDIA had the cloud turn green, which was the first step, but it's not always perfect because this can be a false flag, of course. But once they both cross, the momentum really tells me that it's most likely, there's a damn good chance that the momentum is probably bullish until essentially it crosses back to the downside, kind of like what it did up here. So that's kind of what I'm looking for NVIDIA to start in tomorrow. And this will be a good potential, I don't know, how do I say this? Like good support level or potential way to push price higher for the bulls, which they need to tomorrow, right? Because you all know, I've been saying this for quite some time, tomorrow is a crucial day for NVIDIA. Why? Because, well, number one, we have the daily still, right? We have the daily resistance in this area, like I mentioned many, many times, about 117, 118, something like that, right? And even arguably all the way up here to closer to 120. But the weekly is where I really care about it. The weekly is where I'm, very intently focusing on right now, because this weekly close, to me personally, will be pretty telling as to what to expect from NVIDIA moving forward, ultimately, right? Now, again, it's not always perfect. Like we can technically close below my level I'll mention right here, which is again about 117 to 118. But we can still technically close the week below that and then just do it next week. There's always many ways this can play out, but I do want to see ideally tomorrow a closure above, again, 117 to 118, right? At or above, because like I said, that's where the 50 EMA sits on the weekly. And that's just not something NVIDIA usually loses. Or at the very least, it hasn't lost this exponential moving average in quite some time, right? We lost it last week, and now we're essentially trying to see if we confirm that loss or not, right? And this is kind of what I'm looking at right now, right? Is this a confirmed breakdown, or was this a false flag? Do we close back above the 50 EMA tomorrow, which again, 117 to 118? Do we close it back above this trend line, also around that same level? And if we do that, let's say we close at 119 tomorrow, as an example, right? That will also print a very nice bullish piercing reversal candlestick pattern, which is very, very powerful. It's one of the more reliable patterns, reversal patterns that you can find, right? It's very, very strong. So if that were to happen and NVIDIA does close above, 118, 117, 119, something like that, right? Essentially above the 50 EMA. 118 or higher is better in my opinion, but just again, around that range, right? Around that range. It's a good sign. To me, personally speaking, it's a good sign. I like to see these kind of things. So we're not there yet. We could be there tomorrow. But tomorrow is where we find out if we are indeed there or not. So tomorrow, crucial, guys. Very crucial to me personally. Again, that's just that's just how I look at it. I could be wrong. Maybe it's already good to go, and there's a completely different perspective I'm missing out on, and there's no issues. Nothing to be worried about. It's already good, which, you can argue there is, which is, like I said before, if you just look at this as a channel as opposed to a wedge, you can argue the fact that, we're pretty much bottom picking right around this level, right around here, around, 108 or so. And there is no wedge. Who cares about the EMAs? Who cares about the wedge? All we care about is the fact that we're in this channel, and so far we're actually holding the bottom of the channel. And, well, technically speaking, the next target is back to the upside of the channel, which is around 170, sometime in maybe closer to June or May, something like that, right? That is a possibility. I'm not denying that whatsoever. But for me personally, when I look at the history of the stock and how it performs with the EMAs, I like the fact that it maintains above the 50. that to me shows more confidence, right? I like to see these kind of things more because, again, the stock has had a pretty damn good history of not closing below the 50 EMA. Again, we can go all the way back. You can see on the weekly, it's held above it the whole time, hasn't closed a single candle below it. And the only time it's really closed candles below it was all the way over here. Now, I do want to make something clear. There's a caveat to this. Now, even if NVIDIA closes below this, right, it still will be concerning to me. I would still most likely be on the defensive side for NVIDIA, but the timer, I would say the real timer, like the real problem for NVIDIA is consistently closing below it, but more importantly, if both of these EMAs up here, which they already have crossed bearish, the 8 and the 21 EMA, you can see up here the red bearish, etc. If NVIDIA takes too long to get back above this range, and let's say theoretically for weeks, like literally for the next like 4 weeks or something like that, it just goes sideways right here. All it does is goes like, it just does this for like 4 weeks or something like that, which it could, you never know, right? Assuming we, of course, continue closing essentially below 118, then these bad boys are going to start coming back down lower and lower and lower. And what to me truly confirms a bearish breakdown is if these cross below the 50 EMA. If that happens, that to me shows that the weakness is really starting to set in. The momentum from the bulls is not there to step up and save the stock and propel it back upwards, and that will most likely, all this will do is most likely create a very large bear flag that we zigzag. The EMA's cross bearish below the 50. We most likely reject one more time, and then we most likely head probably decently lower. Again, this is just thinking way out in advance, assuming the bearish point of view comes in. This is just we're just assuming for now. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying that's the the game plan or anything like that. But if we start having issues getting above this level for this week, maybe next week, and essentially weeks in a row, and we just simply cannot seem to close back above the 50 EMA, and essentially this trend line, this wedge breakdown, if you will, that is probably what's going to play out. A lot of sideways action. These EMAs come back down, cross below the 50, and that's going to be pretty bearish. Now, why is crossing below the 50 important? That to me gives me more validation, right? Because you can see, for instance, you can even argue over here, right? If you're trading NVIDIA right here, you can be like, hey, look at this, NVIDIA on the weekly, the EMA's cross bullish over here. Let's say you removed everything else past this, right? And this was the only thing you were looking at. Yeah, this is a pretty ugly looking candle. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty ugly. But nonetheless, if you're just looking strictly at the EMAs, hey, it crossed green. That's pretty damn good, right? We should go higher from here. But instead we went lower, decently lower too, right? If you look at this, we went actually 16% lower. Why is that? Because even though the EMA's crossed bullish, which could be a good sign of things to come, true confirmation from me and from what I'm, what I have experienced with, this EMA strat essentially is also getting back above the 50. That to me is better confirmation. Another example of this is here, for instance, right? You can see right over here. So this candle right here did close below the 50 EMA. You can see all these candles, back here, they didn't, but this one did, right? This one did close below the 50 EMA. But what did we do right after that? We actually rocketed back up, right? And things were looking pretty damn good. But then we finally closed once again below it. And then the EMAs also crossed down below as well. And things got really, really bad, right? So that's why the 8 and the 21 crossing below the 50, in this case, or above, in a reversal to the bullish side case, to me signal further confidence in that respective direction. So yeah, anyways, that's just kind of what I look for, and that's just kind of what I'm eyeballing right now for NVIDIA. Let's see how it actually plays out, right? Again, for all we know, we just crossed back above. This never had a time to cross back down below. NVIDIA starts, reacting a little bit around here, probably some sideways action like this for a bit as it starts to reclaim the EMAs, and then it gets back above and it starts making its way well above these levels, right? That, absolutely. But again, I need to see confidence. I need to see a closure tomorrow above 117 to 118, and that to me will be really, really a really good sign of things to come. I think that will alleviate a lot of potential, bearish concerns, if you will. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. So let's see how it plays out. Tomorrow's, could be a pretty important day for NVIDIA. So let's see. In terms of options flow, a little bit on the muted side. I'm not gonna lie, some definitely decent puts came in down over here, but overall, pretty mixed flow. Nothing really one way or the other, right? In terms of confirmed flow. Where is NVIDIA? All the way down here is almost 17 million. Tesla's sitting at 300 million. I don't know what's up with that. But yeah, tomorrow's a big day. Let's see how it plays out. Let's see what happens, and let's see how it closes. But thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.